Welcome to CARE Conversations with Clarity Financial Solutions, where through education, we move you from confusion to clarity on topics touching retirement. Join us as we learn and grow from others' experience on entering to this next phase of life with peace of mind and conviction that you have a team to help you, educate you, and let you know your unique retirement is upon you. So it's time to take a deep inhale, a slow exhale, and walk into this next phase of life, confident and with clarity. Hey, this is CARE Conversations with Clarity, Season 2. And sitting in my home office today, getting ready to bring on David and Judy, who are clients and have been for quite some time. But in this episode and in this season, our goal is to just kind of walk through the emotion, the change, the thought process of what people are going through as they begin to think about retirement, or what we like to call life after work. So we are going to bring them in and just introduce them and then talk through just that. So let's welcome Judy and David from, is it not Charleston anymore? Niagara Street. Is it Bono?
Bono.
Like you, that's right.
Like you two.
Yes, I can pronounce like that. Bono Beach.
So welcome, you guys. I originally met Judy and David. I was doing a seminar in Summerville, South Carolina, which if you know anything about the state of South Carolina, I actually live in the upstate, so Greenville. And at that time was driving all over doing educational seminars in an attempt to spread my footprint on educating people about topics that touch retirement. And in this particular seminar, I think Judy and David probably got something in the mail that might have said something about Social Security. Do you remember what it said, Judy, David?
Yeah, it was an invite for Social Security as one of the topics. Local restaurant in Somerville, one that we could easily get to, and travel over. That's exactly what we got.
That's great. And so when you got this, what was going on in your life as far as where you were with work, where you were with, in time as far as like Medicare, or were you currently drawing Social Security? Were you thinking about it? Those type of things.
I wasn't drawing yet. We were thinking about when I could finally retire, because I've gotten to the point in my life where I can't do very much as far as heavy lifting and stuff like that, and that's what my job entailed. And I knew I couldn't go get another job at my age.
Oh, come on. You're making yourself sound like a decrepit old man. The time I remember this, you worked at a church, right? So you were doing kind of all things needed to do. Anyone, they need you to fix something in the bathroom. They need you to move chairs around. They need you to do this or do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Set up rooms and tear them down and stuff like that.
And so the thought process, what emotionally, that change of not being able to do that anymore, what was that bringing up? Or like the thought of, oh my gosh, I may have to quit my job. I may not be able to do this anymore. What should I do? Should I draw Social Security? Were y'all having those type of conversations at home?
We had a conversation that to ask for reduced hours for David. So it wouldn't be 40 plus. It would be like 30-ish or something like that hopefully the team could still supplement from the hours that he wasn't working, and still have the team to get all the needs met at the church. The facilities team was very large, and he played a key role in that.
Yes.
So that was granted. So that was our first phase into David working less hours and trying to work all things and still meet the needs of our household.
Yes. So I remember making an appointment with you at the restaurant. You know, we went over Medicare, we went over Social Security, we went over different types of retirement accounts. And generally at those type of seminars, I would offer to do like a one-on-one kind of session to talk about your unique needs. And I remember we scheduled, and so I came to your home, right? And
That's right.
back in the day, now people come to my office. It's crazy. See, but so I came to your home, and I remember just how welcoming you were. And if I remember correctly, we just started having a conversation about kind of who's on first, what's on second, where's the money, you know, what are you going to do? What are your expenses? You know, I know you were working with another advisor at the time. So having that kind of conversation, talking through those things, was that uncomfortable for y'all to start really letting someone else look behind the curtain and kind of take a peek?
It wasn't for me. I think we both were mutually like, Amanda, we fell into like that you had all the education of so many different wheelhouses. And that's kind of what drew us to you, is like we got a lot out of the seminar, felt like we had been educated to where we felt like we didn't have the means. And so when you came to our home, it was just like, yeah, let's chat. We're transparent people, and we know, you know, garbage in, garbage out, like they say in the computer world. And so, you know, if we're not going to be able to tell you all the things about our life, our lifestyle, our expenses, here's our buckets of savings, and like, you're not going to be able to help us to the max.
That's right. I do think that's interesting. I used to get not frightened, but uncomfortable as an advisor, asking questions about people's assets and things as if I was going to be able to create some magic potion to create a retirement plan for them. And that quickly changed because I saw this with two of you, just the weight of the world kind of just come off when you realize, okay, someone else has told us, based on our expenses, based on our savings, you know, we might be able to walk into this next phase of life. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of, once I know that, you know, I gathered all the information, and then we came back and I really showed you, that it was okay. And how did that feel?
Oh, that felt great. Like a big weight was lifted off my shoulders, because I felt like, wow, now I don't have to struggle through another year and a half of work, and I can actually retire. I mean, it was phenomenal. I just was blown away that you knew what our finances were and that we could do this, and I was overwhelmed with it.
Yeah.
So we met you in spring of 21, and all of this information came back and forth pretty quickly. And then we chose a date of August 31st of 21 for David to retire and begin Social Security draw, which was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that shift in the pressure, right, of having to stay in a job that you may have outgrown, or maybe it outgrew you, whatever, however. But that, you know, you have hobbies. You're not just sitting on the couch at home. You are a professional woodworker. He does amazing, amazing work. And that you could do some of those type of things, or more of that, right? More of those that you really love and enjoy. So once you decided and y'all set that date, do you remember? I mean, I know you said it was a weight coming off your shoulders, but did other things in your life seem easier or just more joyful knowing that you could move into this next phase?
Oh yeah, it's much easier to get up in the morning and go into work knowing that, there was a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. And I know we talked about health insurance as well. Because David's a veteran and, I think at the time, were you on Judy's health insurance?
We each had our own.
We had our own, yes.
Through our employers.
Yes. That was another question. Okay. So if I'm going to retire, what am I going to do for health insurance? And, I think it's interesting and maybe you can shed some light on your experience trying to navigate understanding what to do with Medicare, or do you have friends that you talk to or you hear from that are just like, what are we supposed to do? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, do y'all have those kind of conversations?
Yeah, we previously did for sure. And I handled HR and payroll at the same church that we were both employed at one time simultaneously. And people would come to me when they got into this age bracket, and I had no resources for them. I didn't have the Medicare contact, the Social Security a personal contact that I could help my colleagues with. And so I really felt like, coming to the seminar, getting educated ourselves, becoming clients of yours, also additional, just Medicare and Social Security, but also an annuity, just a lot, enlightening us on so many things. And then fast forward, we've spoken to a lot of our friends and family, about the education that we've received. Matter of fact, we just had this conversation this weekend in our home from some folks that came out of town and stayed with us. And we just had this conversation, about how we got educated and where we got educated, and that we have certainly referred other people to you because you are our go-to.
Well, I think it's important, right? We all have our hats that we wear in life, mom, wife, worker, whatever. But I really do feel like a retirement tour guide sometimes. Like I feel like I need a hat that says, come on, let's retire. Like jump on the train, because I do feel like it is a journey, right? Right. There's a lot of emotion that goes with coming from the saving and the working years to then the distribution side, pulling off your money, the thought process of Social Security coming into that income flow, these other investments. What do I spend down first? Am I going to have a health event and it's going to bankrupt me? So many things that people probably spend way too much time thinking about because they don't know people like me exist, and they don't know that there's a tour guide out there that you can just call. And I think it's important. Education, I've always the bedrock of my practice, whether I'm in front of a classroom of people or if it's just in front of a client or two, is people understanding why they're making the decision they're making. Because when you're talking to friends that may not have that same level of education, but in their mind, the TV told them that was the right thing to do. It can be, you can if you don't have a good foundational, framework of why you're doing what you're doing, it can create uneasiness in the decisions that you've made. And I think for me and for my clients, peace of mind is paramount, because, that's the goal, right? Is walking into this next phase and being able to either retire partially, work part-time, have a passion project, volunteer, but to have a great quality of life. And peace of mind is way up there when it comes to that. And I would say it's way more too than rate of return. When I teach classes, I'll have people come up to me and they're like, I've never heard this information, but I have someone I work with, but he says I'm going to be okay. And I'm always like, what does that mean? Okay. Like not hurt or okay. You know, I'm always just curious what that means. But so you started Social Security and that felt good. And I know when we first met, y'all had a substantial amount in savings and thinking. And we talked about what was the why? And you had a lot of, what were you working on? Lots of projects, right?
Yes. Lots of projects. We were still in our previous home. And we also, I think because we got educated by you about, hey, here's the maximum amount as you get on Medicare and you get on a supplement insurance plan. Here's the max out of pocket that you're going to have in your future years because you're equipping yourself with this safety net, right? Medicare supplement plan, and you have the safety net. We didn't know that. And so part of that substantial savings was put aside because we don't know what the future holds for our medical expenses. And so with that, we have been able to spend more on projects and not leave as much hanging out there in the savings account.
Yeah.
So to clue because I mean, we talked about Medicare in season 1, but just to clue everyone in on some of these topics that you're bringing up, when you have original Medicare, you know, Medicare B has a premium that's very affordable. So in 2025, the base premium is $185. And then a Medicare supplement, which fills in the gaps or supplements that which Medicare doesn't cover. If you pay your premium, which I think for the two of you where you live in South Carolina, it's what, like $115 or something like that?
Yeah, $115, $125 maybe.
Mm-hmm. So you pay your Part B premium, you pay your supplement premium. You do have to have a Part D plan for prescriptions, but that's it. The only additional cost for the year is a deductible, a whopping, get ready for it, $257 a year. So that, no one knows that. When you were working, what was your out-of-pocket maximum? Do you remember?
In our employee plans.
Was it $257? It was more like $3,000 or $4,000.
Yeah.
Yes. So in group insurance and individual insurance and in Medicare Advantage plans, you do have this unknown, thousands and thousands of dollars based on your medical experience year to year. So I can easily see how that would, especially with a budgeter like you, Miss Judy and David, it would make you nervous. So you want to make sure you have this large pot of money that if something were to happen, you don't have to be concerned. You simply go to that account and get the money and pay. So I understand where it comes from, but I can't tell you how many people, when they do make the shift from that life, so high deductible, high annual out-of-pocket max, and they move to a Medicare plan with a true original Medicare and a supplement, they ask me over and over and over again, are you sure? Like, this is it? It's just going to be this and this. And I keep reminding them that they did pay into this their whole working life. Like, if you had to pay for Part A, it's over $500. So it's not free. You've paid into it, but it's really great coverage. And for my budgeters, it just checks that peace of mind box when it comes to, I can go to any doctor. David, you hurt yourself doing woodwork anymore. What are we going to do with you? But you know that if you do have an accident, or something, it's covered.
Right.
And you won't have a large bill to pay. And then you've got, as far as investments go, you've got some money in the market. Like you mentioned earlier, we did some money in an annuity, kind of like a bond alternative, more conservative investing. And then we talked through some other stuff, required minimum distributions and everything else. But, I will say that I'm pretty good at body language. And when I met y'all the first time to like the first annual review, y'all were just happier people.
You were most definitely.
Yeah. And that's what I really love to do and I love to see. But when you're talking to your friends who are still working and are thinking about these other topics, I know you probably have good things to say, but what do you sense from them? Do you sense that they're nervous, frightened, scared, misguided? Have you seen everything in between? Because I know you have a lot of friends and community group and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like all of what you said. Some of what we had experienced, other things that we haven't. Some of my friends are single moms or single moms still with a child at home and different things. And so there's just all kinds of reactions out there or what ifs, you know. And I know for me, don't stay in the what if, you know, go get educated. You know, I mean, your sessions are complimentary sessions, consultations, great conversation and education. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, she is awesome and, you know, transparent. And you just go in there with all your stuff and have a conversation. And, you know, she will collect all the information and come back and y'all talk about your goals and what is your solution, whether you're retiring tomorrow, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, just all the things. So, and I know you have had some conversations with some of my friends have come forward and, I'm appreciative of that. And hopefully they're still getting their education and making some.
Oh yeah. Moves. Yeah, I feel like, and I know now being in this a decade, people spend more time planning their vacations than they do their retirement. And I think it's not because they don't want to. It's like a different language. It's like, I don't want to have to learn. I don't know what I don't know because you only retire once. And then the other thing is when you're getting close. And so all of this stuff starts coming at you. The first our defensive mechanism, like, is like to hide. I don't want to think about it. I just won't retire. I'll just be miserable. I'll stay in my job and I'll just keep doing it. Instead of, okay, let me get someone who is a little bit farther away from this, who can see objectively. Because I will say, y'all are wicked smart people, but just having the information, separating the emotion from it and just looking at the facts and this 4-letter word math, right? It yields a story that I can then present back to clients and say, look, this is possible. Sometimes, look, this isn't possible. But we can tweak, right? So without the knowledge, once again, the foundation of where do we go from here? How do we build a positive future? And that's my goal in this, is just really to make people better than I found them, right? Whether they client or not, they either have education that they didn't have before, they have something that they can share in the community that might benefit someone else, or they become a client and I get to know them very well. But education. I think, and y'all can tell me, but how many like seminar invitations did you get when you were approaching like Medicare age or
so? I would say a handful, good handful. And then from then, of course, because we are not the same age. So, it got redundant all over again, right? For once you do get on Medicare, now we're just between emails and whatnot, it becomes a bunch. And a lot of conflict, yes, and a lot of conflicting information. And so as you say, it does come from all angles, and all of it is not well versed. So I do think that referrals are wonderful because it's based on someone else's experience, true life experience. And that's what we can bring to the table. And also why we accepted this invitation, because we want to do that. We want to do that for others.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I feel like, there's a lot of predatory marketing practices for people that are approaching retirement. And then without the new language that we talked about, like it's almost like learning a new language. It's very hard to communicate with someone who talks over you or talks through you and isn't listening. I do think that behavior, I almost feel like either a tour guide or a counselor, because it's like there's so many emotions and there is some fear, and anytime, in my opinion, people have two reactions to the unknown: fear or just denial. Those are the two things. And some people just don't care, but the people that are like thinking through. And so if you can eliminate that, it's just so nice to be able to watch someone across your table from you just start breathing a little easier and start feeling a little bit more comfortable with the topics. And I love, especially one of my favorite things to do, usually in clients, and I know this in y'all's relationship too, there's one of you that does the numbers and there's one of you that does it. And as we move through time, pulling that other person along and saying, let's talk, you need to know this too. You need to understand this too. And that person becoming more engaged, whether it's the husband or the wife. And sometimes it's just one person and they feel like they need someone on their side of the table. They need a partner, a friend, or me to help them, guide them. So they don't feel so alone in the journey. But well, I really appreciate the two of you being willing to just kind of shed some insight on, how you were feeling during that time. It was a while back, 4 years ago, or 3.5, or whatever it was. And now in retirement, getting to get up, David, and I know Judy's still working part-time, but getting to get up and do what you want or what Judy tells you to do.
But yeah, there's always them little projects that she thinks up while she's sitting awake at 4:30 in the morning,
It's working for her. It's working.
Yeah, it is.
But we each have our lane. We just got to stay in it. But I think it's really very, very nice to be able to see you on this side of the relationship as a client, but also just someone who now is able to just be a little bit more relaxed when it comes to where your income is coming from and being confident about that. Social Security, you already clicked that button, maximizing Social Security for a husband and wife is very important because it's a very large sum of money if you calculate it out over 30 years. Knowing where your health insurance is going to come from. And then just knowing you have someone to call that has the ability to walk through things that touch retirement. So I appreciate you both. Any last words?
Yeah, I would just say you met us where we were, which is what we needed, right? Because that's what really we like. Okay, yes. And the extra for us, I think that we had mutual Christian values, and that meant a lot to us. So yeah, and just being treated, like you said, speaking to us and not at us and not down to us, because that's what you're a fantastic teacher, messenger, and just what a professional woman.
Thank you for saying that, because that is always my goal. My goal is to meet people where they are, wherever that is, and to help them through. I remember it wasn't you, but several clients in our first or second meeting have said to me, no one's talked to me. No one has made me feel like I have enough to even work with me. And that just breaks my heart because that person has incredible value too. So, everyone has a unique retirement and we're here to bring clarity to it. So
That's right.
That's right.
all right, guys, thanks again. We'll catch you on the next episode of Care Conversations, where we bring care and emotion to things that touch retirement. Join our Clarity Financial Solutions family, where through education and others' experience, we empower you to make retirement choices with confidence. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook, or head on over to our website and sign up for our newsletter. If you'd like to further engage with us, please don't hesitate. Just reach out, 864-987-8729. See you next time on Care Conversations with Clarity.